There seems to be an awful lot of sad stories in the news today, and there are thousands missing. Does anybody care? We built a channel where we talk about those faces. Talking news with Debbie. Cassie Barnes has still not been found, and it's been 2 years since her case first hit the spotlight. Breaking. Chad Daybell and Vallow both behind bars. Sarah Galloway was found. She wasn't found alive. What happened to Sarah Galloway?
It's too heartbreaking to share.
Children are still missing. Children like Dorsey. You're in shame. You just got away with it. Welcome to Talking News. Hello everyone. My name is Debbie. We use big stories to push little faces.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chasing a Murderer Talking News. And before we get started, take one moment to show your support of this channel to subscribe, like, and even comment throughout. Well, share your ideas on this series. If you would like to see more videos like this, please head over to the Patreon Chasing a Murderer and donate a one-time, or you can give monthly. There's a lot of money that goes into putting these videos out and researching, buying books, mics, you name it. Thank you so much to those who have donated to Patreon and who have helped this channel move forward. So right now, we are still in September of 2015, and we are learning a lot about Chad Daybell, who supposedly is said to be the leader and a reason for why Lori and her children disappear, and for all the very horrific events attached to this case. And this series is here to kind of give you an idea and let you decide whether or not that is true. Around September 5th, Chad is writing in his blog about leaving their old ward and stepping into a new life and new ward. And we learn a few new things about Chad Daybell. He wrote, "Leaving our ward in Springville has been an emotional struggle." And he says that Tammy and him had served in nearly every possible calling during their 18 years in Springville. He wrote, "I served as a counselor in the bishopric for 6 years, and it was a true highlight of my life." So mark in your notes that he enjoys these leadership roles. He continues with, "Our new ward members have treated us kindly, though, and the kids have been accepted. Tammy is already serving as the first counselor in the young women, and I am the new high priest group secretary. We actually live a few miles north of Rexburg in a rural Fremont County. There are less than 14,000 people in the whole county. We can see the Grand Tetons from our yard, and this past weekend we traveled to watch the Barjay Wranglers perform at their ranch in Wyoming. We also recently went to Bear World, so we're gaining some new experiences and enjoying life." As for Tammy, she became an assistant librarian at Madison Middle School and would later become a librarian at Central Elementary School in Sugar City, Idaho. According to a few people later on, Tammy is actually remembered as a treasure, at least to the staff and to the students that she worked with. Meanwhile, Julie Rowe has very concerned family and friends who are worried about her new spotlight and that she's going to be ridiculed. And whoever this person is, that she claims that people are reaching out to her within the last 24 hours to confirm that they are very, very worried about Julie's well-being. And interestingly, they actually mention her health history. That is one of the main concerns, and one has to wonder if they're speaking about her mental health. They're saying to people that are out there ridiculing her, they should, after knowing this or reading this blog, have sympathy or support, love, and empathy towards Julie, not ridicule and judgment. They also admit that they realize that people who believe what Julie is teaching or saying, they acknowledge that these people could be in harm's way, which would be a concern to the Cox family, as well as many other families who are following these teachings. Julie Rowe believes that it's by September 28th and 29th that something miraculous is going to happen. And we already know that as the blood moon is approaching for the fourth time, they believe that these celestial signs only strengthen their beliefs that end days are approaching. Now remember September 9th, I'm mentioning this and it's in the 2015. Chad mentions this date and I didn't get to finish researching that, so just hang on to that for a little bit. Now, together, Chad and Julie are planning tent cities. And here you can see the map and you can see Rexburg here. And then you have all these little towns all surrounding this, which Grace is one of those areas. That's one of the towns that are being mentioned during this time as a possible gathering spot for the City of Light. Because in 2015, in September, the City of Light is in works. Now I found where Chad's daughter, Emma, when she's approaching her adulthood, is blogging on a freedom forum connected to the LDS. We'll go over that in a second. And you can see here where Chad is also blogging about the City of Light, how to prepare for the end days, and gives links to the 144,000 high priests, Jerusalem, two prophets in Jerusalem, the second coming, as well as the resurrection. And you can see here that Salt Lake City in the future is something that they are actually zooming in and marking as an area as refuge as well. Now, floods consumed the Utah area somewhere in this timeline, and many people are aware that Julie Rowe during this time period believes that she accurately predicted these floods, and as do the people who follow her. And during this time, her fan base is growing, but also her enemies. So LDS members demand that Julie Rowe and her absurd prophecies are dealt with and put it into. And the church is actually putting together emergency sessions to take place and talk about these problems that they believe that Julie Rowe is creating. They also want to talk about the fact that she has gained quite a viewership or sponsorship. But also note, it is said that at this time, her local bishop or stake president, they really haven't taken action against Julie, but it is talked about. Especially, you can find a lot of information on the LDS Freedom Forum, which has about 5 pages of threads where people claim that she is a false prophet. Now remember, around August 31st of 2015, there are some warnings sent out by the church to Julie Rowe, and it's through media service and then letters. So here's something I thought was interesting. By September 18th, Chad is writing in his blog about a movie that he watched, and he compares himself and his life, his family, to this movie. And what I found interesting about this is the fact that he seems to believe that the church is reading his blog. So he believes that his blogs are very important to the LDS community overall. So Chad said on September 18th of 2015, his family watched a Pixar movie, Inside Out, and how one of the main characters, Riley, moves with her family to a new city where you get to see her emotions play out. Emotions like joy, fear, anger, disgust, and sadness. And how these emotions play a huge role in these new circumstances. And after explaining, his idea of what he got from this movie, he goes and attaches it to what's going on in real life and even church members of the LDS. He compares them to the character Joy, saying, unfortunately, feels like some members of the church are acting a lot like Joy. They want and expect life to be perfectly fine from now until the second coming. If anyone hints that there might be a bit of sadness in the future, these people ironically show fear, anger, and disgust. And I think this is very important for you guys to understand how Lori goes from fear, dread, to a warrior. Because you can see where Chad Daybell is pushing what you should be scared and afraid of should not be fear at all. It should be joy and excitement. Then he goes over very prominent quotes from President Boyd K. Packer and uses it as a way to gain clues as to when that second coming will approach. And then he tries to tell people that we don't have anything to fear. In fact, Chad wrote in his blog, I feel that President Packer was simply saying in the talk that life was going to move forward as it always has. There really won't be an end even after the second coming. Mortals will continue to live on the earth, and the righteous saints will help build New Jerusalem and other cities of light. Then, after the Savior returns, people will still raise families during the millennium. I expect to see my children and my grandchildren live in that era. And I'll either be resurrected or a very happy old man. So here you go, guys. No doubt in his mind that he's saying for certain that they're going to see the times of building the New Jerusalem and gathering to the light cities. His tone reads as if he himself believes he has this high authoritative power and message to bring to the LDS. And he makes it as if this is a certain thing that people will need to look to him as these days approach because he's going to have every bit of information they need to get through it. I have so many more details like this that I could share with you guys to help us learn his mindset, his ways, and his understanding of the second coming. If you like these details, comment below right now. So let's continue working for the truth. Chad Daybell says that he was thinking of growing his hair out like Woody Harrelson's crazy Doomsday character from the movie 2012. I haven't had a chance to watch that movie yet. From reading what he wrote about this movie, he seems extremely excited about it. He wrote, by the way, I really enjoyed this So Bad It's Good movie 2012 that starred Woody Harrelson as a crazy doomsday prophet. I think it is awesome that in the movie he predicts Yellowstone National Park is going to turn into a gigantic volcano because I just moved to a home about 80 miles from the park. We'll see how that turns out. So he's saying that he thinks that this movie, the predictions in this movie could be real. From there, he switches his tone dramatically. Sadly, the people who are stirring up fear, anger, and disgust are trying to say that Julie Rowe and Hector Salsa fit the Woody Harrelson mold. Ironically, he doesn't mention himself. He writes, it's just not true. You'll have a hard time finding happier people than Julie, Hector, and me. No, he did include himself that time. Then you can tell how he sees himself as being on a throne. He puts himself on a throne, no doubt, because his next remark insinuates that people would be shocked to see how average and normal that the three of them are. He wrote, people would be disappointed to realize how average and normal we are. We enjoy everyday life. And he says that they enjoy their everyday life with their spouses and children, their family members, basically, and that they experience hard times just like anyone else. So they're also kind of claiming, if you think, we're crazy, look at us, outside of what we're teaching. We're just normal people, just like anyone else. Not only that, that they're out here in the real world with everyone else, preparing, trying to help others rather than hiding in a bunker somewhere. And then he goes into his book selling spill for Julie Rowe. You can also go to his book that he wrote before them, years before them, and read The Great Gathering and see for yourself that he had already predicted all these things to come. The thing is no one realizes during this time how serious these group of people are into preparing for the second coming and building these light cities. In fact, Julie Rowe's nonprofit organization is actually supposed to be for sex trafficking victims, which she's never really dealt with, now turns into something to support storage. So, gathering and preparing for these light cities. And Julie and Chad are very, very close and working very closely toward common goals to make the light cities become a reality. And so I feel that's very, very important to point out here. And you must know that at this point, Lori Vallow, who is reading Chad Daybell's books, selling his books, buying tons of his books and giving them away, is now moving from Hawaii back to Arizona, and that she is having problems with her husband. She's having problems with her children, especially Colby and Tylee. And it appears through the research that I'm doing that Lori Vallow is very stressed out by the teenage years and also the growing behavior issues that she's having with JJ Vallow as he gets older. Now we're going to start going into more about JJ Vallow. We're going to start going more into Kay Woodcock and Larry Woodcock and their relationship with their grandson, JJ Vallow. But right now, I wanted to make sure that you guys understand that the blood moon approaches. There's warnings and fears spreading throughout the LDS community, while also half of the community, or more than half, are more fearful for the lies. That's what they feel that Julie Rowe is spreading. And it's not just about what the Mormons are predicting. Chad Daybell and Julie Rowe and other people like them, doomsdayers, are looking at things where they are highlighting the fact that Hebrew calendar actually predicts the end of the world would happen this month as well. And all of this is actually starting to be one of the factors, main factors, into the weakening of Charles and Lori's marriage. Because we all know that Charles changed his faith. He became Mormon because he loved Lori. We know that. Did he believe in this religion? We don't know. Sorry for the background noise today, guys. We don't know if he actually believed in this faith 100%, but he did believe in it enough to convert, and he did. And at this point, Lori's expecting Charles Vallow to have a very strong faith and to actually take part in this faith and try to seek leadership. But at this point in Lori Vallow's life, what I have learned is she's starting to fear that the end days are approaching, and she doesn't seem to feel that Charles Vallow is supporting this idea very much. He's not supportive enough. He's not involved enough. And though financially he is supporting her by purchasing all these Chad Daybell books and sending them out to her friends, including buying stock, canned foods, etc., and so on, and sending those out to family and friends. I believe, based on my personal research, that Lori does not feel that he's at the same spot as she is. And as I mentioned earlier, it's driving a wedge between them. So Lori is living in Hawaii. That's the eagles, guys. Bald eagles. They're actually beautiful. So Lori is living in Hawaii. And according to her best friend, one of her best friends there, April Raymond, she sees Lori and Charles' marriage as the perfect marriage. She says that they had little issues other than she wanted Charles to be a strong spiritual influence and leader, which he's not being. And as we mentioned before, it doesn't seem that Lori believes that these two are spiritual equals. The deeper Lori digs into the doctrines, the more Charles is pushed away, in my opinion. And Lori is digging past the doctrine at this point. She's going to other places as something that she feels is legitimate doctrine and leadership for the future and her religion. While Charles Vallow has actually been more than supportive to this family. He's supplied them with beautiful homes, lavish vacations, and he is involved with the church as much as he can be in between working, raising this family. Lori has put the LDS above everything in their lives, and Charles supports her, and it just doesn't seem to be enough for her. And there's no doubt in my mind that Charles had a lot of struggles of whether or not Lori was capable of taking care of JJ on her own, because he's made several comments that we'll learn about later that make you believe that, you know, as long as she's taking care of JJ, we don't need to worry about anything. And to him, he's just happy that she's taking care of JJ. And as we go deeper into this timeline, you will see why I say some of this, because I jump ahead a little bit, especially for those of you who do not know this story that well. And if you do like this series, and I know I've told you guys all the time, I work very hard on this, because I really do work so hard on this. I have hours and hours. I can't even count them. There's so many. Just make sure that you can at least share this video, tell people about it. Also, you can donate to Chasing a Murderer Patreon page. That would help out so much, guys. Don't forget about our missing kids and women and men. There's still so many faces out there that have no answers whatsoever on their case. Times have gotten very evil. These days are just the worse than they were when I was a child. Thank you guys for caring. That's important. And thank you for being here. Thank you to everyone for subscribing and liking. And I love reading your comments when you share your thoughts on whatever we upload. I love you guys so much, and I thank you for everything. And I know many of you out there struggling. Hang in there, guys. You can get through this. Have a great week, and I'll